What exactly is belief in a just world? It's a conviction that people get what they deserve and deserve what they get, very much like karma. So when exactly do we start believing in belief in a just world? Well, according to Lerner's 1980 just world theory, it typically happens when kids stop looking for quick rewards and start respecting moral rules and convention in return for longer term rewards. You know the old saying, you reap what you sow? Well, that's much like it. While Lerner wanted answers to why cruel regimes maintain popular support and why people accept the norms and laws that bring suffering, time went on and he noticed a few things like his students belittling the poor, who were apparently oblivious to the social structures that caused it, and good doctors blaming mentally ill patients for their own suffering. In 1966, he used shock paradigms to see how observers reacted to victimization. At the University of Kansas, 72 females were chosen to watch a Confederate be shot. Initially, they felt sympathy as they watched, but after watching with no chance of helping, they started to degrade him. It is also worth noting, the greater the suffering, the greater the degradation. This changed when they were told the Confederate was receiving compensation for his suffering. So, why in the world did they act that way? Well, Lerner theorized that a just world is a functional one. That is, it's the idea that one can influence the world in a predictable way. This means that it's important for people to believe in this to maintain their own well-being. Since of course, we know the world isn't always kind, even to the deserving. And of course, we being who we are, we've developed strategies to help us sort through the threats to this belief. For instance, by using rational strategies, accepting the reality of injustice, trying to stop it, being open to our limitations, versus the irrational, denial, withdrawal from society, or a reinterpretation of events, commonly victim blaming. From the 1970s to the present day, research has still been ongoing. Let's take illnesses for example. A different set of researchers found that observers see sick people as responsible for their own illness, regardless of how they became sick. In one experiment, they found the more attractive you were, the less likely you were to be degraded. Interestingly enough, severe illnesses were met with degradation unless you were a cancer patient, in which you were not degraded. We can even see it with poverty. The unfortunate thing about this is that no matter what external causes that surround a person's life that led to poverty, people will not only blame the poor for their own misfortune, but they'll ignore the external factors like the economic systems, war, or even exploitation. As another example, we can talk about violence. Now I have to note the next example concerns violence against a fictional woman. Short and vague as it may be, you may want to skip it if you believe it'll bring you personal pain. Click on the link at the bottom of the screen to skip past it. Now, research done by Linda Carley and colleagues took two groups of subjects and told them a story of a man and a woman, keeping both stories the same, but changing the ending. Group A received a neutral ending. Think of how a normal meeting would end. Group B, on the other hand, received the ending where the man raped the woman. The rape ending was deemed unavoidable, and the woman was blamed in the story based on her behavior instead of her characteristics, like strength for instance. This study was repeated and found to produce similar results, even when changing the neutral ending to a marriage proposal. It's a shame that some blame themselves for traumatic events that are uncontrollable. A paper by Dr. Janoff-bulman found rape victims blame themselves, based on their own behavior instead of their own characteristics. The same answer as the observers gave in Linda Carley's study. Now it's because of the consistency of the studies that have led just world theory to be widely accepted around the globe. Now this doesn't mean the entire world shares the same level of belief. The level of belief has found that right-wing authoritarianism, Protestant work ethic, and aspects of religiousness has a strong positive correlation. But the biggest differences may be found through cross-cultural studies. One study suggests that in countries where the citizens are powerless, the belief system is much weaker than in those where citizens have more power. It's supposed that it's because these people have had experiences that solidify the understanding that the world isn't just and predictable. With this, we can understand why crime tends to be high in these regions. So belief in a just world. Terrible, right? Well, yes, and no. Current research suggests that belief in a just world may be necessary for our mental health. It acts as a coping mechanism by giving us a sense of control over things that stress us out or with traumatic events. It acts as our positive illusion in a sense. More research is definitely needed to fully understand this phenomenon, with work mainly being done in the US, Europe, Australia, and Asia. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're in a mood to learn more in 5 minutes or so, come back in 2 weeks for the next one. Bye for now.